For the last few years, if we look at how monetary policy was structured, we notice that inflation has played a pivotal role in policy making decisions. A lot of central banks have made significant progress in bringing inflation down from the highs of 2021. While inflation is still not at the target number, should central banks be looking at other elements? We noticed that the Fed is keeping an eye on unemployment and the ECB has warned of a slowdown. So there are other elements that are coming into the framework, and it's time for us to revisit the inflation story, look at some of the underlying trends in inflation, and anticipate what other factors could help in policy decision making. Join us this Saturday for our webinar.
There is always something to do. This is something I always believed in, but I never expected to receive a book by that same title. It's the story of Peter Kandil, who had the Kandil Value Fund. It was gifted to me by a friend from Bangalore, Harsha. So I started reading this book because it's also something that resonates deeply with what I always believed in. In every market context, there's always something to do. Yes, it's very focused, it's minimalist. The work an investor can do in a bull market is restricted to very few companies, but you still have work to do. As a person who researches his own business and finds out ideas, there is always something you see which others may not see it when you see it. People may see it either before you see it or after you see it, but at that same moment, it's very unlikely that everybody sees what you see. Because what you see in a company has to do with your familiarity with that company, your experience with that company, the exposure you have historically with that company, your understanding of an industry, your own interest which you develop as an investor in specific industries and companies. All these things kind of come together and give you ideas. So irrespective of where the index is, where the market is, where sentiment is, where flows are, you can still be thinking of companies. I'll give you a live example of the present and something some time ago. In the present, I think that asset management companies are actually very interesting to look at. And I'm not saying this about all asset management companies. There could be some companies which are now not liked by the market, which could get their act together. I found asset management companies interesting even 2 years back. But the companies I liked were not liked by the market then. So we did buy some of these. One company which the market intensely disliked then was trading at 1780 rupees or something like that, which is HDFC. Today it's at more than double the valuation. Today the market doesn't like some other asset management companies. But I think that looking at asset management companies now could give you an opportunity in the coming times. And there are some asset management companies which are trading at high teen PEs. I think that's an interesting space. Likewise, I think telecom as an industry is a very, very interesting space to look at. Now, how you are going to play the telecom space is your choice, but I think telecom and data are the biggest economic drivers of our country. In fact, they are better than any other resource-driven business. I would think spectrum as a resource would be extremely valuable as a resource when it's in the hands of industry. It won't be a great resource in the hands of government. And I think data, when it converts spectrum, can be quite a multiplier, because I think our spending in data is going to be extremely high. I give you two sectors where the opportunity looks very, very interesting. I would also think wealth management as a space has a very, very long distance to go. But It could be a disrupted space because of Geo coming in, but I think the potential is very, very high. Now, cut to a decade ago or even 12 years ago, I felt that building materials was a great space. But at that time, people did not like building materials. Today, everybody loves building materials. So we have these spots of disinterest in the market which could become areas of interest for us. So there's always this job which we can do continuously of looking at companies which the market is not interested in. Our work can be academic for a long time and you won't know when it would turn professional. When your interest in a company which is purely academic turns into an investment interest is something we don't know. But that turn of interest will happen only if you always have something to do with companies. If you want to work only with companies which are immediately actionable, you will not have much work to do in bull markets. And in fact, whatever work you do will be based on recency, and chances are you may even commit a few errors in every bull market. When you have something to do with companies which others are not interested in, you are also defending yourself. You are also ensuring that you are safeguarding your own interest. You are positioning yourself very differently from the market, and by that positioning you are safeguarding yourself. This is possible in a bull market, this is possible in a bear market, and this is possible in a market that moves from a bear market to a bull market or from a bull market to a bear market. You always have something to do. And that came across nicely in that book. And it gave me some sense of reinforcement of a belief of mine, which I have always practiced over the years. So I thank my friend for giving me that book, because it's always nice to get some external validation. Thank you for watching this video.